there, welcome to Pages and Pages. Today we're going to be talking about Kurt Vonnegut's Slaughterhouse-Five and Man Without a Country, and I need to get this off my chest before I change my mind about everything. I'm gonna be honest, I probably would have never picked up Kurt Vonnegut because it's American lit, which isn't really my thing, except that Strict Cover Lit did like a whole discussion about semicolons, so then I thought, oh, niche punctuation conversations, that's my genre. If you're interested in that semicolon conversation, I will link that video down below because I found it highly entertaining. So that conversation was actually about A Man Without a Country, but I know that Dalton has also like really talked up Slaughterhouse-Five, so I decided to just go ahead and read both of them. And here they are. So I have Slaughterhouse-Five here, which I read first, and then A Man Without a Country, which I read second. I'm gonna be honest with you, I kind of feel like Slaughterhouse-Five was a waste of my time. Granted, I went into it knowing very little. I expected it to be something like Catch-22 or Animal Farm with really political overtones, which it kind of was. But the whole absurdist aspect of it that like felt very Hitchhiker's Guide wasn't really my cup of tea. I felt like if the narrator didn't really care about what was happening, then why should I? So that is my experience of Slaughterhouse-Five. I feel like my time would have been better spent elsewhere, reading something else. But now I've read it, and I can't go back. Ultimately, the kind of books that I want to be reading are the kind of books that I feel help me become a better human and help other people become better humans, and I don't really know that this book does that. So I would encourage you to actually choose not to read it and read something else that's going to be more worthwhile. This isn't to say that Slaughterhouse-Five is without its strengths. I can see why it is a very interesting project. I can see why it was popular during the time it was written, but I just don't love that kind of project. And I feel like it's really silly for Vonnegut to trap his reader into participating in this project, whether he wants to or not. So if you take this idea of viewing time as a whole mountain range and viewing these moments of time, it's a beautiful way to write a book. I'm not arguing with that. The writing in both of these books was really top-notch. But the absence of having a human response in an emotional way, in a this happened to me and it matters kind of way, really struck me as being off. Sure, objectivity is great, but there's a huge difference between saying war happened and nothing comes of it, and saying war happened and I was there and so I changed. And so probably he's trying to say both things with this book, but I feel like the former comes across much more strongly, which is why I want to take a step back from this. All that said, A Man Without a Country was a great book because it had the sincerity that Slaughterhouse-Five lacked. Granted, a lot of that sincerity comes out as sarcasm, which is great. A Man Without a Country just feels like a more human book to me, and has advice in it and thoughts about the world that help you to be a better human. What really shines through in both of these books is how people are paradoxes, how you can simultaneously believe one thing and behave a different way, and how you never quite know what to expect from people. So that's good. I think they also emphasize the absurdity and dignity of human beings well, because humans are ridiculous but also marvelous. The writing in both of these is really clear and concise, which I know is hard to do. It made it very quick to read. I flew through both of these because the writing was so good. That said, the writing was so good I didn't notice it. I like to notice the writing a little bit more. There were a couple quotes that stood out. Most of these books have like very strong opinions expressed, but the writing is so fluid and light-handed that it doesn't pack the punch. It doesn't pack the punch for me, I should say. I'm sure somebody who's better at writing than I am would appreciate it a lot more. In A Man Without a Country, there's a rather interesting discussion about the Beatitudes that I would like to continue thinking about. Why promote the Ten Commandments over the Beatitudes, or why promote the Beatitudes over the Ten Commandments? And is it not all a massive joke because none of us are as human as Jesus? So that's an interesting thought. To actually live according to the Beatitudes has got to be one of the most challenging things I've ever encountered. Does that mean that Kurt Vonnegut and I agree? Maybe. I also really liked the chapter about being a Luddite in Man Without a Country, but I think that might just be because I really love stationery and envelopes. So it spoke to my addiction. Yeah. So in conclusion, do I like Vonnegut? Probably not. But he likes himself, and that seems to be sufficient for both of us. What do you think about Vonnegut? Is he Yay or nay? Slaughterhouse-Five, did you like it? Did you hate it? What did you think of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Have you ever read any Kurt Vonnegut? And if you don't like Kurt Vonnegut, tell me what you would rather be reading and what you would rather spend your time on. So that is it for this video. 2 interesting books, lots to think about in them, much to appreciate in the writing, and yeah, Kurt Vonnegut. At least now I can say that I've read him. Let's continue this discussion down in the comments. Is the human experience really that absurd, or do you think that we actually do change and grow and have things happen to us for a reason? Let me know what you're thinking. Thank you for watching, have a beautiful day, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.